Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording on Thursday, November 28th, Thanksgiving. We're recording on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Yesterday, I guess. And we're talking about Jayson Tatum. It's a weird gap between games for the Celtics. They played today as you're hearing this. But we were thinking of topics, and there is a new website called shotcreator.com. I believe it's from NBA University on Twitter. I believe they made this website, which is a pretty cool
that's
thing.
where I saw it.
Founded it. And so we're going to look at Jayson Tatum. And the question, I think, coming into this year was Jayson Tatum shooting, right? Was objectively...
It's been a question for a while. Long-standing question.
Well, he was a fine shooter last year. He shot about 38% from three last season in the regular season. He was a fine three-point shooter. Streaky, sure, but he was like, at the end of the year, number was fine, especially for high volume. Playoffs was disaster. Could not make a shot in the playoffs, was absolutely terrible shooting the ball. He did other things, right? Like Tatum had a pretty good postseason overall in terms of the impact he made, but he could not hit a shot, and then did not hit a single jump shot in the Olympics, which was not great either. He didn't play a lot, but
a real shame.
The question is, because the whole thing coming into the year was Tatum changed his jump shot, it looks a little bit better. Obviously, opening night against the Knicks, he exploded, great 3-point game. The question is Jayson Tatum actually a better shooter now? And we're going to use Shot Creator to look at this. It breaks it down really equally, and we're going to look at some of the things that have gone into Jayson Tatum's 3-point shooting season this year. If the video lags, apologies. We did a little test, and we think it's going to be fine, but sorry if it comes out lagging on your guys' end.
I think it should be okay. I want to shout out Troy in the First to Floor Discord called me out for not being as critical of the team's usage of Jayson Tatum in terms of the 3-point shots he's getting, where last year we talked a lot about how he's not being moved without the ball. He's not being put in positions to catch and shoot. And while we have seen more catch and shoot situations for Tatum this year, it does feel like there's hey, he's still not like being asked to like go off screens or get himself open in that respect, which could be helpful considering all the other ball handlers and shot creators that are on the Celtics.
I think, and I'm not saying I disagree with you. I do think it is an underrated skill to be able to move off the ball that effectively. Like I don't know if Tatum would be great at
it's
that.
What makes Curry great. It's what makes, oddly enough, somebody like Sam Hauser as effective as he is. We even have seen spurts of it from Peyton Pritchard this year as he's taken a little bit of a leap in his scoring ability. So being able to move without the ball is absolutely a learned thing. It's not just, a given.
Yes. Let's take a look though. So we can look at this year and last year. We can look at shot chart. So far this season, I'll look at totals just so we have it. He's taken 176 threes above the break, shooting around 36.4% on those, shooting great from the corner. Combined, 8 of 17 from the corner, 66 from the left corner, I believe that is, or maybe right corner, and then 43% again in the other corner. It breaks it down into shot types as well. Step backs, not very efficient, 27.5%. Not amazing at those. However, jump shots in general around almost 38%. And you can break those down into just 3-point jumpers as well. This site's amazing. I encourage everybody to go use it. But he's shooting most of his threes by a long shot above the break. And he is shooting 36% from above the break, which I don't know how that compares to other people. I think there is a way to look at like above the break threes compared to everybody else in the league. I'm not good at this site yet to see that. But that's how he's shooting from there. The step back threes under 30%. Transition threes, he's actually really good on the transition threes this year. Pull up threes are on 38%, and then everything else is sort of lumped in there at 37. I think the important thing is to compare it to last year a little bit because I think
perspective.
Yeah. So look at last year, his shots. If you look at the threes, he took almost 600 shots above the break. He shot better overall above the break last year. The difference is he shot about 42 total threes all of last season from the corner and did not shoot well from the corners at all. But a big part of that was I think a lot of the corner threes were step backs. I can double check that, but I don't think a lot of the corner threes were catch and shoots. Or no, I guess they were, and he just wasn't very good. But that's the big difference is here. Not only is he taking more corner threes because he took 40 last year and he's already taken like 17 this year through 15 games. but he's also just a lot more efficient at the corner threes. And combine that with the fact that the pull up threes or but the break threes have trailed off a little bit, but it's like 1% difference. I mean, that'll make a huge difference in the efficiency from behind the arc. And we can look at some of these as well. We can look at the step back numbers per game and see if they've gone down. But I think the biggest thing that has changed Jayson Tatum year to year, and I mean, just for extra added context, we can look at the playoffs shooting because yikes. But
This is just mean.
it was real bad, man. He just didn't have it in the playoffs. I think the biggest difference from last year to this year, though, has been shot selection, and I think it's been a lot more focused on getting him the best looks.
Yeah, my eye test, we'll see if I'm right or wrong. It feels a lot like he's getting a lot more step into the shot opportunities. He's not really starting games off by trying to create 3-point shots. If they're there for him, great. But I feel like we've seen a lot more of getting downhill from Tatum early in games. We've seen him get off to great starts in games. It was literally the first moment of the season. Granted, it was from behind the 3-point line, but he got himself going in the first quarter against the Knicks. We kind of saw that time and time again. We saw it again on Sunday against the Timberwolves, and I think also in Monday's game. Maybe I'm just like duplicating the performance in my head, but he had a really great start, and it was by getting downhill. You're not seeing, let me see if my shot's working from Tatum anymore. You're seeing, let me see if you go in, let me put pressure on the defense, and then we'll keep them honest by shooting threes. It's almost like he's a pitcher in baseball and he's realizing that his fastball is really good and he doesn't need to
Mhm.
risk hanging sliders and curveballs anymore. And he can mix those in to throw batters off. That's getting
Yeah.
downhill. And that's when he's at his best because when he does that, he has the opportunity to not only get easy looks at the rim, but also kick it out to his teammates who have been excellent shooting threes this year.
Yeah, we can look at some of the so I filtered these to above the break pull up threes is what we're going to look at here. And it goes game to game, obviously, to most recent. You can go newest, oldest, random. I'm just gonna do random, just I feel like that's gonna be the best overall way to do these. I pulled up his above the break pull up threes last year versus this year, and maybe there's a chance that we get a too niche of a selection with the random. But I think what you're gonna end up seeing is the difference that Sam just outlined of the pull up threes are not these wild, let me dribble into stuff.
Watch
It is
this.
going to be a lot of it's going to be a lot more designed actions to get Tatum good looks. Like look at off rip, steps into drop coverage, nails a three.
Yeah, even though it was off the dribble, it's still
Mhm.
a design motion to get him in a comfortable spot to shoot a three. It's not create
Mhm.
this. It's like this is going to be created for you. You're ready for it. Same with that one. The guy drops,
Even that one,
steps
yeah,
in, drills it.
yeah. Um, we can look at step backs too. Maybe not in this video, but maybe another one. I mean, you're going to see here. This is clearly not a created one. This is him creating for himself. That one goes in. I don't know if these are just makes. I thought I did misses as well, but these might just be makes. So apologies.
That Pistons game,
Maybe
by
we're
the way,
just
was an
getting a lot of makes.
insane laugh your ass off performance the first quarter or
Yeah,
first half from the whole team.
even here, Luke gets him onto a guard, onto a Bruno Fernando, so he can create his own space. I mean, that one was just ridiculous at that point. But you look at some of the ones from last year. Again, I wish I was looking at. Look at shot creator. Show me both. Show me makes and misses, man. That's what we need. Shout out,
Yeah.
dude. This website. Once I learn it to be a little bit better, so
Go
good.
make
Like
videos
this
so good.
website is unbelievable. Oh yeah, it's gonna make life a lot easier. So this is now makes and misses. Sorry for messing that up, but I mean, even if he misses that, that is the most wide open three you can get. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot more action at the top of the key. It feels like to get Tatum. Like even though that one doesn't go in, like there was something that was put in place to get Tatum an open three. There was something that was done at the top of the key. Horford sets the screen to get Tatum an open shot. Right? It is not Tatum switch on to somebody, go you do you, right? You see that every once in a while. Even there, Tatum creates enough space to get himself an open shot, but it felt like last year every single one was that. Like there were very few times that you saw a designed action or a designed play to get Tatum a shot. Like look at that one. I mean, that's a great contest from Rudy, but Tatum just steps in and he's so comfortable there. And then versus last year, which I mean, we're gonna see a decent amount of this year as well because Tatum likes to switch onto the big guys and create his own space, but it just
Man,
felt
does
like
that
there was a
score
lot
bug look
more.
better.
We're lagging a bit here. It just feels like they're. What do you say?
I said the
Oh,
scoreboard
I know.
looks
Last
so
year's
much
scoreboard
better.
was so much better.
Ugh.
Yeah. I think we're hitting a lag, but
it's an actual buffer in the
yeah.
video. It's not like through StreamYard. Like the video itself is lagging. But to add on to your
Yes.
point too, even by running a pick and roll or a pick and pop at the top of the key to get him the step in look, you are giving him another option. It's not just make sure you get the shot. It's if they blitz you, then the other guy's open, and then that puts pressure on the defense that way. It's not just simply Tatum has to be solely responsible for the entire offense working. It's no, the defense can pick their poison. It's either they give him an open look, they blitz him, and then the roll man is open, or something else happens where a weak side or a strong side help guy comes over and the other guy is open. There's always going to be something created by this instead of them just saying, go cook. They're saying,
Yeah.
here's some help. Here's how you can get your teammates involved. And it's really worked a lot so far. That's why I feel like that's why you've seen a lot more success from the rest of the bunch too. As silly as it may sound, like some of these, like even look at Al Horford. Al Horford's somebody this year, not to say I think we all thought he was going to fall off, but I think he's played above expectations. And especially when it comes to shooting threes, it probably has a lot to do with the opportunities that are created not only by pick and pops, but by driving kicks from Tatum.
Yeah. I will say the other thing is last year on 3-point step backs, which I know is your favorite shot in basketball, Tatum shot 50 of 148, so 33.8%. I'm going to check. I think that number is a little bit up this year. I could just be talking out of my ass, but let me see here. 3-point step backs. No, it's down. It's down this year to 29.5, but his 3-point efficiency is
how about the number
around
of
the same.
attempts per game? Can we do it per game?
I can't filter the shot attempts per game, unfortunately.
Okay. How many did he take last year? 150?
150, and he's at about 51. He's at 51 this year. So he's actually technically taking more. I think that's a bit skewed, though, because he is taking like 2 more threes per game. So I think his 3-point volume is just up overall. And I think that's mostly a product of just the new style-ish that the Celtics are playing more than anything. But, I mean, here's what I'll say. I'll say this is the biggest thing. You can sort this by hex, too. So let me do this, and let me control minus so I can get a larger view here. It's the same. Jayson Tatum is the same shooter as he was last year. I think the playoffs just skewed everyone's perspective on who Tatum is as a 3-point shooter. And I get that, like, us and the niche people who are in the nitty-gritty every single day, like, understood that a lot of the shots he was getting in the regular season weren't ideal. But I think he's fixed a lot of those things. And I think the reality is that he's just a streaky 3-point shooter. I think that's just what it is. And I think the playoffs took that and made it into bad. Like, look, this is hex chart from last year, right? Very decent, like mid at the above the break threes on what would be his left side of the court. Good from the corners. You go to, or that's this year. Last year, let's see the hex shots. It's the same thing. He is good from this side. The difference is he's good from the corner now. Jayson Tatum loves to go left. Look at this. Look at this hex chart. Don't send him to the right side of the floor. Never send him to the right side of the floor. Never, ever, ever. That's what we should learn from this.
What a disparity that is. That's nuts.
It's crazy.
Just once he gets past that elbow, you're cooked.
Just keep him off of that side of the floor, man.
It's bad news.
It's so bad. Right side of the floor, he was 32%. Left side of the floor, 46%.
It's kind of incredible when you think about it.
It's insane. He's just good.
I wonder if that has anything to do with if he's going right, his first option in his head is to drive. Like he wants to get to his strong hand. And those shots are coming as a product of being cut off, and it's a backup plan.
Look at this, though. Look at the playoffs. He could only shoot from this side.
Well, to be honest with you, this is not a surprising thing to look at.
What do you mean?
The colors of this chart do not surprise me.
No. Well, what I'm saying is look at the playoffs versus the regular season. Like
the disparity in the right side, yes.
It's swapped. Anyways, the point I'm making is I think Tatum has gotten a lot better at deciding which threes to take. I think the Celtics have done a lot better job of deciding which threes they want to help him take. But I think the reality is like Tatum's a streaky 3-point shooter, but this narrative that he is a bad 3-point shooter came because of one bad playoff run, and I get it. But I think
Where
that
the
sort of
eyeballs
got
are at, brother.
I think that just got I think it got seriously overblown at the end of the day. And it is what it is, like that it'll happen, but I don't think it was necessarily fair to have this giant discussion of is he actually a good 3-point shooter? Because the answer is he's a good shooter. He's one of the best scorers in the league. He's just one streaky, and two, the streak hit a really, really bad point in the playoffs. Like he just did not have a good 3-point, or excuse me, a good shooting playoffs. And it is what it is. But I don't necessarily think he's had this miraculous turnaround this season. I think it's just they are being a bit more deliberate on what shots he is taking and getting him into a rhythm.
I hate when we learn about stats because it's like, man, I had this hypothesis and I'm just wrong. I was like, wow, he's really cleaned it up. Like he's taking smarter shots. The team's doing a better job. No,
Well, he is, but no, he is. They're being smarter
the
about it.
team is
But
doing a better job. But like the ratio, like in terms of like he's already taken 50 step back threes, and that's like a third of what he took last year, and they're a quarter of the way done with the season.
yeah, well, I do think that's skewed though because I do think he's just taking more threes.
Yeah.
Like context,
Wiley
last
told you
year
that's bad too.
but it's not. Last year Tatum took 609 threes. He's already taken 193 this year, so he's gonna take almost 800 threes this season.
Yeah, can't wait.
That's
Can't
the game,
wait for
man.
the next 600.
Well, and he's shooting almost identical percentage. He's at 37.6% last year. He's shooting 37.3% so far this year, both of which are up from his past 2 seasons as a 3-point shooter. That's the game the Celtics play. They just like to take a lot of threes, and I think it's clear to see why they do that. Because did you see the stat? They are taking. I got to find it now, but it was on Twitter. The Celtics are making 18.9 threes per game. So do that math. 18.9 times 3 is,
mind you,
let's see,
23s in a game
18.9
years ago was like
times
drop
3.
your jaw stuff.
So 18.9 times 3, they're getting 56.7 shot points per game off threes alone. Pretty good. At the same time, they're holding their opponents to 11.7 threes per game. So 56.7, 11.7
21
times 3. The Celtics are outscoring teams by 21 points on threes alone. So like I get the volume thing. Like I understand why they are doing it. The year over year, they are attempting the Celtics so far this season are attempting, if NBA.com would like to load because my Wi-Fi clearly isn't great, 50.6 threes per game, Sam. 50.6. And they're making 19 roughly. That's almost 3 more than any other team in the league. By the way, the Bulls are second in 3 points made per game.
Big matchup tonight.
Have randomly turned into a 3-point shooting team when they were one of the fewest threes shot teams last year. So Celtics are making 19 threes a game last year on over 50 attempts. They made 16 and a half last year on 42 and a half attempts. They're taking 8 more threes a game this year and making 2 more. Like that's crazy considering everyone saw them as this insane 3-point shooting team last year. Because guess what? Last year they led the league in threes attempted they had made. This year they're doing it even further, and it's winning. It's winning a lot of games. Anyways, I think Jayson Tatum is the same shooter he was. I think he's being a bit more deliberate. I think the team's being a bit more deliberate, and that's helping. But overall, I think it just got overblown in the playoffs. But any final thoughts? Do you want to do outro? Or do you want me to do outro?
I'll do it.
All right. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think of Jayson Tatum. Jack and I will be here live on the channel tonight for pregame. We'll have a video for you in the morning about the cup. And make sure you hit the bell because you don't want to miss any of our daily uploads. Full pods, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday game recaps, morning after each game. Other videos like this one in between to keep you up to date on all things Celtics. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. All pods and recaps will be there for you. Follow us. Go right to your feed. We'd appreciate that. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's the address. We love to hear from you guys. We read your emails in every single podcast. I saw that Philip sent in more music. Very good. Noah was introduced.
Noah and
to
I
all of
listened to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yes, we always read your emails, hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on Twitter and they're on YouTube. And yeah, Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam France NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.